Hello, and welcome to another Investing with Bosisco video. First, I'm going to do an update on Barrick Gold, which was previously featured in Go for Gold Part 2. Then, I am going to take a look at a second stock in the REIT sector. In a previous video, I reviewed RioCan Real Estate Investment Trusts. Now, before we begin, I need to remind you that I'm not a financial advisor and not licensed to give financial advice. This video is provided for your entertainment. Both beginners to the stock market and those who manage their own accounts may find my methods of evaluating stocks educational. This video may provide you with guidance on how to do your own stock selection. Okay, let's get on with the show. In my previous video, I got censored. I did an analysis of Barrick Gold. So let's look at an updated chart with my opinion of where we are now. You may want to go back and look at that video as it goes into more details than today's video. To recap, my software gave a buy signal on June the 2nd. Looking at the RSI indicator at the bottom of the chart, I felt it was time to buy. So the next day I bought shares. Now, in hindsight, I can see that I jumped the gun as MACD was still trending down. You have to understand that MACD is a lagging indicator. On June the 5th, there was a second buy flag. The volume at the time seemed to be showing me that there was buying interest, although the buying was seen as under the radar. Buyers in the know did not want to tip their hand that they were accumulating those shares. Now, those sneaky traders. Now, if you watch my video, Go for the Gold Part 1, you know that my goal is to get an annual return of 9%. Okay, so here's that comparison from that video between value stocks and growth stocks. Now, to get 9% and more in just a month is a plus. Maybe I should just quit YouTube and leave on a high note. Okay, just kidding. Sometimes things just work out for the best. But I think it is decision time for selling. I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to do a separate video on my thoughts of when to sell, and I will use this chart as an example. So think what you would do if you own this stock. Let's see if you will agree with my decision in the next video. Going to be interesting. Now let's hit the target analyzer and get a recommendation on Brookfield Property Partners L.P. So here it goes. And it's going to compute the stock for us, and I do like this stock, but the analyzer is okay. Selected Brookfield Properties Limited. That's good. Now the question is it a buy? Well, let's see. Okay, it's going to take a bit of time here. Must be a problem with this stock if it's taking this long to compute. Okay, we're waiting. Maybe I'd go for a coffee or something. Maybe there's enough time to have lunch. Oh, here we go. Seems the analyzer is neutral on the stock. So if you own the stock, you should continue to own it. Now, I've not owned this stock in the past, but it is on my list of stocks to follow. Now, this stock was brought to my attention last week by a video posted by a fellow Canadian YouTuber. Now, in the previous video, I had this chart showing returns over 20 years by asset class for investments in the United States. Okay, the parrot in me is coming out, and as I said twice before, if you look at the far left, REITs were number one. Now, I do not expect all sectors to perform as well over the next 10 years. But I do feel the results would still make REITs the best overall asset class. First, look at the description and contact information page for Brookfield Property Partners Limited. And we see that unlike RioCan, it's focusing on Canadian properties. Brookfield Property Partners has properties in North America, Europe, Australia, and Brazil. And the company focuses on being a global owner and operator of real estate, providing investors with a diversified exposure to some of the iconic properties, and to acquire high-quality assets at a discount to replacement costs or intrinsic value. And we're going to see that in a minute in another chart that I pull up. And okay, so its operating segment includes core office, core retail, LP investments, and corporate segments. The company operates in various sectors such as the office sector, retail sector, industrial, multifamily, hospitality, triple net lease, and the corporate sector. It generates a majority of its revenue from the LP investment segment. So it's well diversified, which is kind of good. I like that. Okay, let's go on here. Okay, so I'm going to do a comparison here of the two real estate investment trusts. Now, you can see with RioCan, the price-earning ratio is 7.1, and the price-earning ratio for Brookfield is 11.5. Now, I like a lower price-earnings ratio, so RioCan gets the nod here. We see that both are making money, which is good. And now, the yield on RioCan is lower than the yield at Brookfield. And the yield at Brookfield at 12.0 or 12.1 kind of worries me. That seems a bit high. So I would go with the lower yielding stock here of RioCan. And if now RioCan pays its dividend monthly in Canadian funds, Brookfield pays its dividend quarterly in US funds. No difference here. I don't mind either method of payment. That's fine with me. Now the price-book ratio, if we look at RioCan, it's 0.597, which means we are paying more for the assets of RioCan than we would if we bought Brookfield, where the price-book ratio is only 0.393. So I'm going to give a check mark to Brookfield because I'm not going to say we're getting it cheaper, but we're getting it at a lower valuation. So let's move on to the next line and see. Okay, so now we're looking at a 5-day chart of Brookfield. And we can see here that back on Thursday, July the 2nd, the stock took a big jump up. Now the question is, what happened? And that's a good question. And I'll look at that after we see some more charts. Now, I want to look at my own software-generated charts. This first one shows RSI has advanced out of the lower buying zone. MACD is neutral, so it does not indicate a buy or sell. One thing different in this chart from the one for RioCan is that the stock has been trending up over the last 3 months. The chart for RioCan was flat over the same period. And we can see the last 3 trading days, the jump up in the stock market, highlighted in the yellow circle. Jumping to my other stock charting software program, I can see that the stock had a buy flag before the jump higher. If you bought the stock before the move up, congratulations. You are a smart trader. The other green triangle was after the jump up. So 2 green triangles are buy flags recently. Note that the stock has been trending up since the stock market crash. Dang. Why did someone not send me an alert on this stock? Now let's look at why the stock jumped higher last week. Okay. Brookfield Property REIT put out a notification that it's going to buy up over 9 million shares at a price of $12 US per share. And so let's just take a look at this announcement. Okay, July 2nd, the company announced today its intention to commence a tender offer to purchase up to 9 million shares of the Class A stock that trades in the United States. We'll just skip over the par value. It doesn't mean much to me. Now, they're buying it from the public shareholders for a price of $12 US, and it represents a 17.3% premium to the share price on the NASDAQ stock market, as of the market close on July 1st. Now, this was kind of puzzling to me. The total value of the offer is expected to be approximately $110 million. Now, this is a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're only buying $110 million worth of shares? Well, cheapskates. Okay, so let's go down to the next section here. Now, if more than the 9 million shares of the Class A stocks are properly tendered and not withdrawn, The company will purchase shares of the Class A stock on a pro rata basis. Okay, I don't like that. Now, this is important, what's underlined in green. Odd lot tenders, holders of the stock beneficially owning fewer than 100 shares, they're not going to be restricted to proration. All the shares that they tender will be bought up. So we'll go on here. In that case, shares of the Class A stock that are not purchased will be returned to shareholders. So if you were to tender, say, 10,000 shares, the company has no obligation to buy the 10,000. They might end up only buying 100. So not a very good offer. But one thing I will note is the company does value its shares at a higher premium than the market is offering at that time when it was offered. Now the shares have jumped up that 17% premium. So let's go on and take a look more at this offer. So the offer will expire at 5 p.m. on August the 12th. So I expect this for the next month, the stock will trade around this offer price. So I don't expect any major jump up or down. Now, let's see what's also here. The offer will not be conditional upon the receipt of financing or upon any minimum number of shares of Class A stock being tendered. Okay, no, nothing of note there. The offer will, however, be subject to other conditions. Well, it'd be nice if we knew what the other conditions were. And the company will reserve the right, subject to applicable laws, to withdraw or amend the offer. Oh gosh, okay. All right. Okay, at any time prior to the payment of deposit shares of Class A stock, certain events occur. Okay, so they're just protecting themselves. So maybe this offer will not even go through. Now, I want to explain something here about this type of offer, because it's only $110 million. Just think of it. If this was your company and you were part of the managers of this company, would you want to deal with a mutual fund that owns 100,000 shares? Or would you want to deal with 100,000 individuals who own only one share? Now, in the past, I've seen where companies like to get rid of the shareholders that only have one share. So this is a method of just reducing the number of shareholders of record on the company. Just something to think about. I'm not too sure if this is the case of what they're trying to do here, but I do know that a lot of companies will do the odd lot tender just to reduce the number, because it costs money to have a lot of shareholders on file. Okay, so enough said. Let's go on. So that is my thoughts for Monday, July the 6th. I hope you liked this review of Barrick Gold purchase and the analysis of Brookfield Property Limited's L.P. A warm welcome to the new subscribers to the channel. And I thank you, the viewer, for taking the time to watch this video and the others on my channel.